Awesome. So, welcome everyone. We'll give it just a moment for Zoom to let everyone in, and then we're going to get started. Okay, so I guess we have a lot to cover, so I'll get started right away. Happy Monday, and I hope everyone had a nice weekend. Thank you for joining us today. We're here to talk about the Florida-Israel Innovation Partnership, a binational funding opportunity designed to support joint R&D projects between Florida and Israeli companies. Today's webinar is brought to you in partnership with Space Florida, the Israel Innovation Authority, the Florida High Tech Corridor, and the Senfluence team, and the Florida Israel Business Accelerator. So, as I mentioned, we do have a lot to cover, so I will quickly walk through the agenda. First, you're going to get started with me. I'll give a brief overview of the Florida High Tech Corridor, Senfluence, and what we do to support startups. Then you'll hear about the Florida Israel Business Accelerator program from Raka Fet. Next, we'll dive into the biggest portion of the webinar, which is the program overview and details on the opportunity presented by Trevor Jones from Space Florida. We will then turn it over to EFAT on the introduction to the Israeli Innovation Authority. Then Limor will take over from Select Florida and will tell you more about the ways Select Florida supports navigating the partnerships. And then we're going to hear two past awarded case studies from both companies who have been awarded in the past from Israel and from the Florida side. And we're going to wrap up with the live Q&A session and the closing remarks. The Q&A box is open throughout the whole webinar, so please feel free to drop your questions as we go, and we're going to either address them throughout the webinar or we'll leave them up until the end. And as you can see, we've gathered great partners from across the US and Israel to give you the tools you need to understand unique funding opportunity and know what your next steps should be if you're interested in applying. And with that, I will get to my portion of the presentation. So my name is Ksenia Moskalenko. I work for the Florida High Tech Corridor, specifically a program called Senfluence. The Florida High Tech Corridor supports high-tech companies, innovators, and research institutions across the 23-county region in Central Florida. The corridor was founded in 1996 as a partnership between the three main universities, the University of Central Florida, South Florida, and University of Florida, with a core focus on accelerating technology transfer, applied research, and industry growth. And next year, we're going to be celebrating the 30th birthday of the corridor. And one of the longest running program born out of the corridor is our Matching Grants Research Program, or MGRP. This program supports industry university collaborations by providing matching grants up to $150K dollars per project for Central Florida-based companies conducting sponsored research with UCF or USF. And both small, medium, and corporate-sized companies can take advantage of that opportunity. And here you can quickly see some of the numbers from the past 5 years of running the initiative. The second program of the corridor is Florida FAST, funded by the U.S. Small Business Administration. FAST provides hands-on support when it comes to SBIR and STTR for companies all across the state of Florida. My colleague Jack Henkel, who is also on this webinar, leads this effort by hosting office hours, reviewing proposals, organizing webinars with federal agencies, and supporting companies as they navigate the federal funding landscape. And finally, the third major initiative of the corridor, and where I'm the most involved, is Senfluence, our Central Florida Cluster Initiative. And Senfluence is specifically designed to help startups in a region to launch, scale, and grow. We currently support more than 300 member companies across key high technology areas. And we are powered by Orange County, the City of Orlando, OEP, Duke Energy. And thanks to that, the membership in Senfluence is free for the companies. And through Senfluence, we help companies connect to capital, research partners, customers, global market opportunities, including international programs like this one, which is exactly why we're here today. We support companies building in energy and environmental sciences, gaming, entertainment, immersive technologies, learning sciences, and human performance, which is the cluster that I manage, life sciences, and semiconductors. So if this sounds like you can find the Senfluence membership form on our website. And as always, don't ever hesitate to reach out to us directly. And with that, I will hand it over to Rakafet for the presentation on the Florida Israel Business Accelerator.
Thank you, Ksenia, and thank you for all you and the team at the High Tech Corridor do for our entrepreneurial ecosystem. Hello, everyone. I am Rakefet Batur-Phillips, Co-Executive Director of the Florida Israel Business Accelerator, also known as FIBA. Next slide. We are a nonprofit economic development engine driving economic growth and solving critical statewide challenges by strategically connecting pre-vetted Israeli companies with Florida industry partners and capital. We are powered by public and private sector grants, and our offices are located in Tampa. Next slide. Since we started in 2017, we scouted, vetted, and supported over 100 Israeli tech companies. These companies raised a combined $1.5 billion in direct investment, and 11 of them were acquired or had an IPO. 50% of these companies successfully established presence in Florida, creating over 200 direct, high-skill, high-tech, high-wage jobs. Next slide. Just wanted to give you a sample of some of these companies we're working with. Starting from the top right, Extend is a battle-proven drone company that, as of last July, is assembling drones in their facility in Tampa and just landed a multi-million-dollar contract with the Department of Defense. Just underneath, Ozio is getting ready to open its manufacturing facility in Palmetto in February. They make implants for orthopedic surgery that restore healthy bone using a strong and biointegrative material that slowly dissolves in the body. And then we have, of course, Stemrad, one of the first companies we worked with when we started in 2007. And Stemrad is also a recipient of the funding we're talking about today. Stemrad makes personal radiation protection that shields your most vulnerable and vital organs. The founder, Dr. Oren Milstein, will share more about his company and about his personal experience with this funding opportunity in a few minutes. And then maybe a couple more. Tabit is based in Miami, provides a full suite of digital products for every restaurant touchpoint to increase profits and customer satisfaction. So a company in the hospitality space. And then Apollo Power makes flexible and lightweight solar panels. And they just signed a deal with a Fortune 500 company, Arco, to equip 300 gas stations with their solar panels. So as you can see, we have drones, medical device, energy tech, hospitality tech. We really touch many industries when we can. Next slide, please. So if you're an Israeli company looking to make Florida your new home, or if you are a Florida company looking to find an innovative solution to a problem you currently have within the organization, or looking to collaborate with an Israeli company, please reach out to us. We are here to help. Next on the program, Trevor Jones, Corporate Development Financial Analyst with Space Florida. Trevor will speak about Space Florida and the funding opportunity we are here to hear about. Thank you.
Hi everyone, how are you doing? My name's Trevor Jones. I'm with Space Florida. I'm going to share my screen here. Just one second. Hey. And I'd just like to thank Ksenia and Rakafet for both helping us organize this great program here today and expanding operations and helping Florida companies and Israeli companies join together for great innovation and progress in the aerospace and technological fields in the state of Florida. So again, my name is Trevor Jones. I'm with the business development team here at Space Florida. If you're not familiar with Space Florida, we are the state of Florida's Aerospace and Finance Development Authority. We were founded in 2006 under a unique state statute that enabled us to open the door for more creative and innovative financing options and infrastructure access, making aerospace ventures much easier to launch here in the state. So, for example, we've grown aerospace business in the state of Florida. We are now the second largest state in the United States for aerospace and related technology fields in all of the United States. This has attracted even more aerospace activity to the state over the 2 decades that we've almost been in operations. And our bread and butter kind of financing capabilities are basically related to conduit financing. We help companies that are in the aerospace and related technology fields establish and expand their operational footprint in the state of Florida. So we can help those companies finance new facilities, maybe procure equipment if you're going to establish like a hangar or a manufacturing facility. And we can also help some of those companies procure things like CNC machines through some of our conduit financing capabilities. Another cool aspect that we have to our toolkit here, we participate with company accelerators within the state of Florida. One of our partners here is called the Florida Venture Forum, and we host a couple of unique capital accelerator programs throughout the year with them. And that's essentially a pitch competition where newer companies can come and present their new aerospace companies and ideas within the state. And then finally, our next capability here that we have within the state of Florida is the Florida Israel Innovation Partnership Program. That's an annual grant program that's been in progress now since 2013. And that program was established under a joint funding program for the two agencies of Space Florida and the Israel Innovation Authority. Through this collaboration, Florida-based companies have gained access to Israeli technological prowess and innovation, while Israeli companies have benefited from the state's thriving aerospace and ecosystem. This collaboration not only accelerates technological advancements, but also fosters a unique funding environment for groundbreaking research, and the partnership increases the investment and economic growth in the state of Florida and the Israel aerospace community. So as you can see, this program is designed to foster joint aerospace research and funding development initiatives between the state of Florida and Israeli companies. It opens opportunities for cross-border innovation aimed at marketable advancements in aerospace and defense. These can encompass joint collaborative benefits, including access to technological prowess, both on the Florida side and on the Israel innovation side, and connections to other thriving markets within the state of Florida and Israel. This company has helped accelerate technological advancements through patents that have been funded through both the Florida side and on the Israel side, STEMRAD being a great example of one of those companies. And to date, about 47 total awards have been made jointly between Florida and aerospace research R&D projects since this program was established in 2013. So some of the point areas of interest accepted for this application are innovative aerospace, space, and defense research programs. At least one for-profit company in Florida and one Israeli company must be partnered together. And I will also note, it's not notated here on this slide, but a university can also be a subcontractor to this program, both on the Florida side and on the Israel side. They provide purpose roles and expected outcomes when they fill out the application programs, and this satisfies the necessary requirements for Florida-based activities. The evaluation criteria for this program really comes down to 4 or 5 separate fields. There's technical and commercial merit, execution capability for the companies that have applied for the program, and then a likelihood of commercialization. So both on the Florida side and on the Israel side, we like to see that the companies can bring a product to market within about a 1 to 2 year time span. That's the goal of this joint R&D, commercial R&D project. Of course, we also like to see the potential economic impact projections on the proposals that are submitted both to Space Florida and on the Israel Innovation Authority side. And I will note, if you are partnering with a company in Israel for this program, you'll both make a selection both to Florida and both to Space Florida and to the Israel Innovation Authority. And the applications are evaluated separately between Florida and Israel. From publication to close, from the time of the announcement of projects, the call for proposals, the typical time of the open call for projects, we're currently open right now. We started this call for projects back in September. So that generally lasts about 4 or 5 months. The deadline for this year will be February 16th. And then after that, the evaluation process typically takes about 4 to 6 weeks for proposals to be evaluated, both on the Florida side and on the Israel side. I should note that there is $2 million of funding available, and that's $1 million of funding contributed by Space Florida and also $1 million of funding contributed by the Israel Innovation Authority as well. The top award that can be made for this program is up to $400,000 per company. So I would say over the life of the program, the average award tends to be about $200,000 to $250,000 with multiple winners per year for that amount of funding. And I'll go to the next slide. And this slide will show you some of the previous winners for this program. So we had Sidus Space and Maris Tech. They developed a high-definition 360-degree video camera for satellite deorbiting operation and complex orbital maneuvers. Guidant Autonomous Intelligence, they're based out of Boca Raton. They partnered with the Israeli company Novelsat. They had helped advance an autonomous vehicle communication system to enhance teleoperation safety with low latency satellite technology communications systems. As we've seen here, I've mentioned STEMRAD. They partnered with a couple of companies here on the Florida side. They are multiple winners of the Israeli Innovation Program. They partnered with Redwire here on the Florida side to develop a recycling on-orbit plastic waste into personal radiation protection gear using additive manufacturing techniques like 3D printing. And then Edaspace project worked with the Israeli company Helios Project to help create a prototype for creating a lunar oxygen station to convert lunar regolith into liquid oxygen for proposed space propulsion and life support systems. And then also Census Technologies, they're based in Daytona Beach. They partnered with Mobilicom on the Israel side for enhancing long-range and unmanned aerial system communication with a multi-channel data link for reliable beyond visual line of sight operations. And then finally, this year's winner, My Sky Eco, Jeremy Maswari will be speaking a few minutes from their company. They are developing jointly with Airways in Israel large drone platform that can be used for a number of types of operations like border security, reconnaissance, and search and rescue operations. So that's been a great project, and they were the most recent winners for this program. And then finally, I will give you some of my details here. So again, the deadline for funding for this program, or the deadline for applications for this program, will be February 16th, 2026. And that's 2 p.m. Eastern time on the Florida side. And then Ifat Hadaya will share the deadline details for Israeli companies as well. And you can see my contact information below. And if you would like to reach out to me, please do so. I'd love to help both Florida companies and Israeli companies partner together for this program and help steer innovation into a great new direction for both Florida and Israel. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Trevor. This was great. And now we're going to hand it over to Ifat to tell you guys more about the Israel Innovation Authority side.
Thank you, Trevor, and thank you, Ksenia and Jack, for inviting me today. Thank you also, Kefet. My name is Ifat Hadaya, and I work at the International Division of the Israel Innovation Authority on government relations and program management. I'm happy to share more information from our perspective. Next slide. The Israeli Innovation Authority is the national entity of the Israeli government responsible for fostering innovation and supporting companies in developing cutting-edge technologies. Our mission is to help Israeli companies grow and succeed. One of the ways we achieve this is by supporting programs that encourage international partnerships, such as our bilateral program with Space Florida. In addition to direct investments in companies at all scales, we support emerging technologies through applied research, lab, and talent development, and take action to remove growth barriers such as regulation and taxation. Slide. Our funding model for bilateral collaboration includes professional evaluation to validate both technology and business potential, which conducted by approximately 200 experts. Funding is available for joint R&D or pilot projects covering up to 50% of the Israeli company's budget on a non-dilutive basis. Both partners gain early success to innovative technologies and matchmaking support. And as Trevor mentioned in his presentation, feel free to complete the partner search form, and we will use our resources to help identify potential partners. Next slide. The program supports joint R&D projects between Israeli and Florida-based companies in aerospace and space-related sectors. Projects should focus on innovative technologies with commercial prospect. Each partner applies to its local authority. This means Israeli companies apply through the Israel Innovation Authority, while Florida-based companies apply with Space Florida. The applications are then separately evaluated by the Israel Innovation Authority and by Space Florida, which then jointly agree which applications will be funded. Trevor mentioned earlier the maximum funds that each company can receive on the Florida side. On our side, there is no actual ceiling. However, budgets should reflect balanced effort. It doesn't have to be 50-50, but should be balanced between partners. Next slide. By leveraging government funding, both companies will not bear the risk alone, as both funding partners share it with you. In addition, this is a great way to build strong partnership that combine expertise, resources, and market access. The call is not limited to traditional space companies. We have several past examples in addition to those that Trevor mentioned, including collaboration between quantum communication and satellite companies, medical and agricultural experiments in space, advanced materials, and more. And as mentioned before, later you'll hear more from the experience of Dr. Milstein, the CEO of STEMRAD, an Israeli past awardee, and Mr. Jeremy Mazwari from My Sky Echo, Florida past awardee. Next slide. Israeli partners, this is very important, can submit their applications online no later than February 16 at noon Israel time. We will not be able to receive applications that will be submitted late after that deadline. And please keep in mind that submission process takes time. So to be on the safe side, make sure to submit all required documents well before the deadline, even a day or two before. And to make things easier, the bilateral form that should be attached to the application is identical on both sides. Then both partners can fill it in together. For Israeli companies, please check out the call webpage on our website. You can see here the link to it. We're also hosting a webinar in Hebrew on December 28 at 2 p.m. Israel time. This is, by the way, can be a great opportunity for Florida-based companies looking for partners to fill out the form, the partner search form. And this way I can spread the word during the webinar, only if you'd like your interest to be public, of course. You have my contact information here. I'll be very happy to hear from you. Thank you and good luck. Looking forward to see you on board. And I would like to hand over to Limor Ashkenazi from Select Florida.
Thanks, Ifat. Hi, everyone. My name is Limor Ashkenazi, and I'm the director of the Select Florida Israel office. I'll keep this brief and we'll provide just a quick overview of who we are and how we support companies so you know how and when to reach out when needed. So, Select Florida, first slide. Is Florida's official international commerce organization and a direct support entity of the Florida Department of Commerce. The role of the organization is to support business growth, trade expansion, job creation, and international relations. Select Florida connects Florida businesses to international opportunities and assists with access to global markets, such as exporting, and also attracts and assists international companies with market entry and expansion into Florida. Select Florida has 14 full-service offices around the world, as well as a number of satellite and pro bono offices. So a little bit about Select Florida Israel office on the next slide. Thanks. From the Israel office, we support business engagement between Florida and Israel. We assist Israeli companies interested in opening their US operations with a focus on Florida by providing information on Florida's economy, demographics, regions, target industries, workforce talent, etc. We also assist with relocation and expansion and provide services such as site selection, property searches, incentive checks, regulations, permitting. We connect to various service providers as well as state agencies. And of course, we foster partnerships between various institutions and their counterparts in both markets and initiate programs that strengthen bilateral collaboration, including the Florida-Israel Innovation Partnership Program that we have been talking about today. So just a little bit about that program on the next slide. As you may know, Florida and Israel share a strong, long-standing relationship with over $800 million in bilateral trade occurring in 2024. The Florida-Israel MOU was signed in 2013 to promote joint R&D and commercialization in aviation, aerospace, and life sciences industries, to name a few. And this is where the Florida-Israel Innovation Partnership was born. As mentioned, the program was initiated by the Select Florida-Israel office, with Space Florida executing on the Florida side and Israel Innovation Authority on the Israel side. We're very proud of this program. It's in its 13th call. As Trevor mentioned, to date, more than 40 partnerships have been funded. And this collaboration brings together companies, organizations, and partners from all sides. It strengthens Florida's innovation ecosystem. It familiarizes Israeli companies with Florida. It creates business partnerships. And so really, it has advantages for all sides involved. And besides for establishing the program, Select Florida Israel continues to support it by promoting it, guiding applicants, connecting partners, and assisting Israeli companies that choose to establish their operations in Florida. So to all the Israeli companies that are participating on the webinar, please feel free to reach out if you're considering establishing your operations in Florida and would like our support. We're a nonprofit organization and we do not charge for our services. And I wish everyone the best of luck, and we hope to see many applications. Next up, we have Oren Milstein, who will take you through a case study of STEMRAD's successful project. Thanks all.
Thank you, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm honored to talk about my very positive experience with this program. We had, as Trevor mentioned, we had two partners here, both Lockheed Martin and Redwire Space, and over several different awards. I feel like the contribution of Space Florida together with the Innovation Authority was first and foremost in making an introduction to a relevant company and then fostering that relationship, nurturing it, not only through funds, but through really fostering the relationship, and trust building is very important, especially when dealing with a transatlantic relationship. So it has been nothing but a great pleasure to work with people from IAA and also Space Florida. I mean, I'm really in depth and in great gratitude towards Trevor and the rest of the team over there over the years. And there were many people that helped us along the way. And then I'm even more privileged to talk from the perspective of somebody that also enjoyed the FIBA program later on. It was a natural extension of the collaboration that we had with Space Florida, whereby Tony Gannon from Space Florida recommended STEMRAD as a company that could fit the profile of FIBA. So we joined as one of the first companies within FIBA. That led to the creation of our US office in Tampa Bay, and it's been a great experience being there. So this is not only about getting a grant, it's really about placing your company within the US market, exposing your company to opportunities, really international opportunities, and then also creating a local base within America eventually, a base that you will need in order to get to the big government contracts that we all aspire to get to. Specifically in our case, the product or the project led to the development of what you can see on your screens right now. Is the Astrorad radiation vest. That really was a long process of adapting our proven solution for nuclear workers towards the needs of astronauts venturing into deep space, whereby they're exposed to very dangerous solar particle events. So that was a process we did with Lockheed Martin. And it resulted in a product that has flown through the International Space Station and then also on Artemis 1 around the moon and is part of NASA's Artemis program. And we're very proud of being a part of that. Over the years, we were able to also recruit the support of the Israeli Space Agency. That is also another like derivative of, I would say, this collaboration or this is support that we received from Space Florida and the Israeli Innovation Authority. And now we're proud to serve as an example of what can be done. Over the years, while we developed this product, we also became aware of a pressing need of NASA to reduce mass, volume and mass of any kind of hardware that is being sent up into deep space because the limitations of the launch are very severe compared to launching to low Earth orbit. So in that regard, we were privileged to collaborate with Redwire Space, a company specializing in printing, 3D printing in orbit, towards reducing the mass of this product through recycling of onboard waste material, mostly plastic waste, and really reconfiguring that waste into radiation shielding elements that were later inserted into the vest in orbit. So here we not only developed a solution with Lockheed Martin, we also optimized it further through the collaboration with Redwire Space, and both collaborations occurred under the auspices of this great program. I'm happy to continue with take any questions, get into details. Just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you, Oren, so much. And now on to Jeremy, the CEO of My Sky Echo, to share his experience and guidance on this program.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for the invitation to speak. So similar to what Oren experienced, we reached out with Space Florida. I spoke with Trevor, some of his colleagues, and we said, listen, we are a manufacturer of small aircraft in Florida based on our own design that we've come up with. And we are looking at the market, and we feel that there's a great opportunity for our platform to expand into the drone space. So we reached out and said, listen, we have a couple of different things we need to work on. One is certification of our aircraft. The other is how do we dronify our aircraft to make sure that we can avoid aircraft that are piloted? At which point, Trevor was like, hey, there's this program between Israel and Florida. We can put you in touch with a company, and this company called Airways specializes in doing UTM traffic avoidance. So what we immediately found was, the synergies. Trevor had, presented, several different opportunities for us to partner with a couple of different firms. And Airways had a package that we were really looking to integrate into our aircraft, which was the ability to see and avoid other aircraft using software technology. We brought the drone application, they brought the software application, and we are currently integrating those two. And what this allows us to do is that's relatively unique in this area is we can test in any airspace we want, as busy as it can be, because what our drone allows us to do is to have a pilot on board. So we can go into different areas that, airways couldn't, exploit because you have to be in specific corridors to test, beyond visual line of sight drone aircraft. So those synergies were very strong between us, and we decided this is something we definitely want to experience and kind of explore and see what we can do. We put together a very large proposal, which I think was, phenomenal in terms of what we want to accomplish. Had a couple conversations with Space Florida, IAA, and everything really kind of fell into place. We then got our funding, and this allows us to move our aircraft towards certification under the FAA's Mosaic rules. It allows us to retool our aircraft towards drone purposes. Airways is continuing to evolve their software using us and allows them to test in a lot of different ways they could not test previously that we can unlock with them. So a lot of joint growth opportunities there that we're looking to exploit, and we're currently in the process of doing so. To mirror, and echo what Oren was saying, what Space Forward and the IA really bring is, the funding, the grant is phenomenal, but the ability to connect you with other people when you list out, hey, this is what we want to do next. This is what we're trying to do. Here's how this is a game changer in this industry. And here's how we know that we will succeed and do well. And they can provide introductions to say, hey, here's another company we can work with that we've worked with previously. They've done great things and they can pretty much do what you need to do. So the number of connections that we've gotten through this joint venture has been exceptional, and things we wouldn't have been able to find on our own. We're looking to continue all of this great work that we've done together and keep pressing forward as we move our aircraft further towards certification and deployment. And we've got a lot of great interest in it since we've gotten all of this program out and vocalized. So that is where we're at.
Great, Jeremy. That's awesome to hear. And thank you for sharing your experience and your words of wisdom. That concludes the first part of the webinar. And now we're going to dive into the questions. So please, if you have any questions, type them in the Q&A box. We're going to take them over right now. And of course, that was a lot of information. So please use the time now. And I will give it over to Jack to help us guide the Q&A session. So thank you, Jack, and over to you.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks all the speakers. And keep the questions coming so we have plenty of time to answer them in the Q&A box. So I have a couple here. Maybe these are, I'll open it up to the panel on this. So the first, I'm going to group kind of two questions together. Is there a specific financial level a company needs to be at, or a technology level they need to be at to be able to apply for this grant?
I'll take that from the Florida side, and then I'll let EFAT speak on that. So again, this is Trevor Jones from Space Florida. So as far as technology readiness levels, we don't have really a strict TRL level that we mandate that companies meet. Like I said previously in the program, our goal jointly with the Israel Innovation Authority is for these companies to be able to bring a product to market within a 1 to 2 year time span. So I would say if a company can generally realistically project out that a product can be brought to market from the funding from this R&D program within 2 years, that's generally the time horizon or the technology readiness level that we project out for this program. But I'll let EFAT comment specifically on the Israel side as well.
Same here, although we will consider maybe a little bit a lower TRL if it is something super innovative that can be a game changer to the industry. But yeah, this is more or less our vision as well.
Excellent. Thanks so much. So next question, and we have a couple questions about this, about how to kind of package the technology you're talking about. So do you consider a full system development? So the example here is a full electric vehicle in the scope, or is it only subsystems?
EFAT, would you like to comment first on that?
My question is it something that you can do in a 1 or 2 year project?
Mm-hmm.
I assume that it is more relevant to subsystem.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say on the Florida side, we don't mandate that something specifically has to be a full quote unquote vehicle development project. It can be an innovative system for a subsystem that goes into a vehicle, whether that's a ground-based vehicle and an electric aircraft, for example. So yeah, it doesn't have to be a full on vehicle system. It can be, I think, Guidant, as I said, is one of the examples where there was a previous winner. They develop communication systems and intelligent systems for satellites for automated driving systems. So that would be considered a subsystem of a vehicle. So yeah, that would be perfectly acceptable from an R&D standpoint for the Florida side.
Gotcha. I'm going to jump down. There's a question kind of relevant to this a little bit further on. So if you have multiple R&D projects or multiple things you're considering for an application, do you submit those separately or package them into one or kind of pick the one that's most relevant, kind of the most likely to win? How should a company sort of evaluate that if they have a few different things that they're working on that are related, but could be separate projects?
A company can submit multiple proposals. However, we pick eventually the excellent ones. So it is the application process takes a lot of time and resources. So it is better to pick the best of the best of the your ideas.
Yeah, and I'd just say to echo what Ifat just said from the Florida side as well. We apply a similar evaluation criteria. Like I said in my presentation, specifically on the Florida side, we're looking to see what products can be brought to market within the most realistic time span, and how the company plans to execute the planned development of that product. So I would say those are the two of the most important criteria if you're looking to apply for this program.
Okay. Kind of going down that pathway just a little bit, just to kind of follow up on that. So, for an application, someone's partnering, you have a Florida partner, a partner in Israel. Do they submit the exact same application, or are there differences on the application for the two partners as they're submitting? What does that look like?
The only identical form is the bilateral form, which, by the way, helps to set expectations between partners. Other than that, the application forms are different. And the Israeli company submit its own cost, and we will give the grant to the Israeli company based on the Israeli company's budget.
Okay. See here. So let me go to this. So going back to the top here, do you have an expectation this year for the number of awards that you're going to make? This question saying, normally there's 3 to 4 year. Last year there was only one, but kind of what's your expectation in 2026 for the number of partnerships you're going to award?
I would say on an annual basis, I don't want to speak for EFAT, but we don't tend to project out how many awards that we're going to make per year. The program is fully funded both from the Florida side and on the Israel side this year. So there won't be any issues in terms of funding. But I would say, generally speaking, the rule to apply there, yes, is historically about 3 to 4 awardees, both on the Florida side and on the Israel side, are made per year. So that's an average kind of annual projection that we make.
Okay, gotcha. So we do have a question here about the matching funds. So I'll take this next question 2 different ways. One is, so this is a Florida company. Can you describe how the matching funds work? Would internal R&D costs count? I guess maybe this is, so if you mean matching in terms of the funding from Space Florida and the Israel side, how does that funding work? If that's not the question, just please retype and kind of clarify, and we can answer that.
Yeah, I get this question a lot on the Florida side, so I'll take this one. So yes, to speak to matching financing, I'll say it doesn't have to be a dollar for dollar amount of matching financing that can be done by the company in Florida, both in terms of labor or equipment or manufacturing capability applied. So it doesn't have to be a dollar for dollar match. It just has to be represented through some sort of labor or equipment expense within the application process. So that would be your expenses due to the development of the R&D project as you project it out to be.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. Let's see here. So
Um,
this, oh yes.
I would like to refer to that as well. The grant from the Israeli side is at the rate of 20 to 50% from the Israeli company's budget, and the rest should be brought from home, from the private market, etc.
Mhm. Gotcha. Excellent. Thank you. And that's direct costs and indirect costs. Is that right? In terms of what counts as match? Are there any major limitations companies should know about as they're kind of calculating what their match would be?
No, on the Florida side, there aren't really any restrictions that can be calculated both as direct and indirect costs for the program.
So, so this was a question for Trevor. What was the name of the Florida Venture Accelerator program? And we're kind of searching more. I think this is the Florida Venture Forum you're talking about as the
Yeah,
partnership.
hey, Robert. Yeah, so I can email you specifically information regarding that program, but our partner agency, if you'd like to Google them, they're called the Florida Venture Forum. They will be hosting a full statewide capital conference, I believe at the end of February, coming up in 2026 in Miami. And then in the summertime, Space Florida specifically runs an accelerator program with them for early stage aerospace companies. That will be in probably June coming up of 2026 as well. And I'd love to meet you and give you more information on that program separately if you'd like me to.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Kind of going down the list, what are the questions? A little broad, so we'll see. Maybe this is for to the group here. What kind of collaborations do you foresee with the European Space Agency or the European Union Space Program?
So Jacques, yeah, I'll take that from the Florida side. So we do have it's called the Florida Aerospace International Research Fund. That gets to, I think, some of the questions that you're asking there. We are looking at broadening out and kind of mirroring the successful program that we've done with the Israel Innovation Authority. We have a number of partners in Europe that we've been speaking to, including the UK, France, and Germany. So yeah, I will be happy to give you more information on those programs as they develop, but that is brand new legislation actually just passed by the Florida State Legislature. And again, that's called the Florida International Aerospace Research Program. So we will be developing projects and programs for that shortly here over the next couple of months.
Excellent.
And for Israeli applicants, maybe this is something that we can look at the Horizon programs.
Okay. Yeah. So Horizon Europe, what's the end date for Horizon Europe? Is that how long does that stretch through? Do you remember? That's a couple of years, right? So there's lots of opportunity.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the details.
Okay.
But by the way, we will present that in our Hebrew webinar on the 28th. So Israeli companies are welcome to join and hear on that as well. And hopefully at some point we will be able to do trilateral collaborations as well.
Excellent. So next question is about do you have any information or can you share anything about the evaluation rubric? So how are the proposals evaluated and scored?
Hi, John. Yeah, I'll take that from the Florida side. So I can send you a link for the bilateral application that should have kind of a weighted rubric that can show you each of the evaluation criteria and how much those are weighted in terms of values. Like I said in my presentation, the primary factors that we're looking for on the Florida side are how quickly, within a time span of about 1 to 2 years, that a product can be brought to market, both on the Florida side and on the Israel side, and the execution capability of the company. So if you have some history behind your company as far as maybe submitting these types of applications, that definitely helps. If you've submitted for example, NASA SBIRS or some sort of other government grant program, that definitely helps in terms of the evaluation criteria. But I'd be happy to send you the full application link so you can look at the full rubric for that.
Okay, and I'll put that in the chat too as we go. So
Thanks,
we'll
Jack.
have that so you can review. I'm going to stick to John's other question. So just to kind of clarify the application process, So it's two separate proposals, one to Florida, one on the Israel side. There's some, obviously, you need to talk and have collaborative research. It needs to be clear that they work together, but there are two separate proposals going in.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
From an
So for
applicant
John,
side, I can provide some additional detail if that's helpful.
yeah, please.
Yeah, so the way that we broke this down was we were partnered with the company, and then we went through and Space Florida gave us a PDF document that said, here's what we need to have. Israel has their own version of the same kind of form of this is what we need to have submitted. And we as a company sat with Airways for many hours and went through the forms. A lot of the things do overlap. There are some differences. And what we did was we outlined this kind of one document that covered everything, and we put our pieces in ours. Florida, Israel put their part in theirs for Airways, and that's how we submitted. But the form that is given, the PDF, is very, very detailed and gives you everything you need. And the Israel form, from what I've seen, does exactly the same. So it's a pretty straightforward process. There's a lot of detailed questions, so you definitely have to know your project and your partner. But overall, there was nothing really complicated about it. It's a very straightforward process.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Jeremy. Uh, okay, moving on. So can anybody talk about the IP ownership? So is there any IP? Obviously, there's IP, but when you're collaborating, there's IP there between the two companies, but is there any IP ownership concerns or things that companies should be aware of as being a part of this program?
I can refer to that question from our perspective. IP that brought from home should stay at home. So if it's a pilot project, the IP should stay with the Israeli company. When it comes to R&D and a new IP created, then the companies should, both partners should agree in advance how they will share the new knowledge that will be created. And this arrangement should be brought to our knowledge prior with the submission as part of the letter of intent that both partners should sign as part of the application process.
Yeah, and I'll add some color to that on the Florida side as well. Thank you, Ifat. Yeah, Space Florida, we also do not take any IP ownership or anything like that on the Florida side. The only kind of reporting requirements that we do have for a successful awardee, we do ask that the awardee provide quarterly status updates on how the progress is going on the R&D project for both partners. And we do also ask that the Florida companies submit data related to any kind of jobs related to the R&D program. That way we can track the amount of jobs that have been created from this program and their average annual salaries. That way we can submit that information to Florida Department of Commerce for data tracking on our side. But that's the only type of information that we do ask that companies submit. And then when their contract is up and the company has been able to execute on their R&D project, we do ask that a final project report submission be made to Space Florida.
Okay. So IP is just between the companies, and there's no consideration for no ownership outside the two companies and how they want to manage that.
Correct. Yes.
Excellent. So kind of going back to the type of product. So if there's a company that has a product that, in the words of the question, is kind of ready or basically ready, is that suitable for an application for this, or how should they think about kind of applying? Is it for this program? Should they look at new R&D, future R&D, or kind of how would you advise this company?
I'll speak to that from the Florida side. I would say, without knowing any kind of specific details of this project, if a case can be made that any more R&D work is necessary and can be done through substantial partnership with an Israeli company, I would say on the Florida side that there should not be any kind of restrictions to that. But I'd have to know some details about the specific type of product and project that's going to be being proposed in this case.
Gotcha. Okay. So maybe follow up with because this would be a Florida company, so maybe follow up with Trevor. We'll send out the recording and the slides to everybody. So if you have questions about your specific case, kind of follow up directly with the right person there. So how many are you able to share? So obviously the typically funded 3 or 4. How many are you able to share how many applications on average you get per year? And if not, we understand. But
Sure, yeah. I would say over the life of the program here. So, like I said, this is an annual grant program that's been going on between Florida and Israel since 2013. I think the average historical amount of applications is around 20 or so applications per year. So, it's a pretty good chance for a company to win a grant. It's not a program where there's going to be like 100 different applicants or something like that applying. Probably not. Obviously, the more applicants that we would like to see is all the better. The more the merrier. But yeah, I would say it's about an average of 20 per year.
and I think you're taking the right step by looking at it now because you do have a couple of months to find the right partner, put the application together. So don't wait till the last minute, right? The earlier you can work on it, the better, and the better chance you have. Um, So any thoughts on, and we've talked a lot about kind of physical hardware, devices, physical systems. Are there application areas in the term of the question, digital infrastructure? So digital infrastructure required to optimize astronaut well-being and performance. Maybe more broadly, is it just devices and kind of physical hardware, or is it, digital training systems, that kind of thing as well?
Yeah, I would say from the Florida side, it doesn't have to be a physical product, quote unquote. It can be something that, as long as it's something that is related to the criteria that I laid out earlier, as far as an aerospace type of application, it can be a digital product. For example, it can be like an AI system for spacecraft performance or something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical product operating in the real world, so to speak.
Mhm. And I would say check the call for proposals. They have a good list of some of the potential target areas there that talks about the types of technologies. So that's a good one. And look at past awards. All the past awards are listed on online as well. Can anybody talk about confidentiality? So a company submits a proposal. Where is the information stored? Or kind of is that kept confidential? What are the rules around confidentiality for proposals?
I will speak to that on the Florida side as far as applications. I would say for applicants submitting on the Florida side, um, please don't obviously submit anything that can be IP related as far as anything you want to keep strictly confidential. If you are chosen as an awardee, we do ask that the company sign an NDA to both protect the company and Space Florida as well. So if you are chosen as an awardee, yes, there will be an NDA process, but not for just applications to the program.
On our side, we keep the information confidential based on the law, the Israeli law. When it comes to information that you wish, for example, if you fill out the search form, the partner search form, please do not put inside any confidential information since we will share that form with the potential partners.
Excellent. Thank you. And so our last couple of questions here, it's gonna be perfect timing. So if I'm a company that has a technology that has a pretty wide range of applications, but I'm trying to figure out the right fit for this proposal or within aerospace, is there somebody on this team here that they could reach out to maybe get some more information about how to tailor or target their application to find the right kind of technology fit? If I have a really wide technology, I want to make sure I'm not kind of going too far outside the field of what you're looking for. Who should they be reaching out to?
Yeah, I would say you can reach out to myself on the Florida side, Trevor Jones, or Ifat Hedaya on the Israel Innovation Authority side. We'd be happy to take a look at that project in further detail and kind of determine its eligibility criteria.
Excellent. And this might be a good question to kind of end us on. So this is a Florida company, but kind of more broadly, if I'm a company looking to find the right partner from Israel or vice versa, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, Devo. So, great question on the Florida side. So, like we've discussed previously, we do have it's called a blank partner search form. I can send that to you, or I think Jack also has it available on the chat as well. If you would like to fill that out and just provide some background information on your company, what you would like to do as far as a project proposal and what you're looking for in a potential Israeli partner. I will work with Ifat Hedaya on the Israel Innovation Authority side to find you a partner based on that criteria that you've given us.
Excellent. And I just resubmitted that form in the chat so you can grab that. And just from, I think it was mentioned on the webinar, if you're able to do that sooner rather than later from the Florida side, there is the webinar coming up in a couple weeks. That might be helpful to find a partner there. So, and I guess last question, I submit a where do we the partnership form. So I just put the partnership form in the chat. We'll also have a link to it in the recording that we send out. So you'll get the slides, the partnership form, and the contact information for everybody on the call. With that, we are right at time. I think all the questions are cleared. I'll hand it back to Ksenia to close us out.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, to all our wonderful speakers. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for all the questions. As we mentioned, the recording with all the materials will be sent afterwards with all the contact details. So please feel free to reach out to any of our speakers and wishing you the best of luck. Happy holidays and hope to hear from you soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.